What's going on, guys? This is going to be a little bit of a dive. We're going into my past, something that I haven't talked about yet, which I thought would be interesting. I remember a long time ago, Toys R Us. You know, it was a booming place, and it was actually my first job out of high school. It was my first tax-paying job. I had odd jobs when I was in school. I helped cater. I helped work at a barnyard, or a barn house, rather. Or not barn house. It was a barnyard where I took care of like a few animals. I didn't do a lot. I just like shoveled horse shit and helped take care of chickens and like some rabbits. But my first paying job with taxes for Uncle Sam and everything was actually Toys R Us. Now, that was early on in my life, and I damn sure still remember that the general public does not care. They do not care about people that work in retail. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. They treat people like absolute shit. Now, when I actually was working, my primary time working there was during the holidays because I was a seasonal employee, so being my first job, it wasn't going to probably, well, last very long. I didn't have any connections in there and nothing like that. A couple buddies of mine did, so they were able to stay and actually stay on as full-time employees. But in my roughly like 4 months that I worked there, I have to say, it was horrible. And it wasn't just the pay was complete absolute ass, and that's when I really found out about taxes. But the fact of the matter was, a lot of people that would come in just had no disregard towards the workers. Now, when we weren't just fixing shelves or making sure things were clean or, you know, talking to the customers, they told us if it was in your best interest, basically, to stay in an area you're familiar with. It may have came to you guys, but I'm a bit of a game lover. I loved games for quite a long time. For the most part, I really dove into games once I hit right out of high school. Right before high school is when I really started getting into them. And obviously, I kind of stayed around the games. Now, fun little fact about this whole time I worked there. I had a long time bet, that I actually broke recently with a buddy of mine about not supporting Xbox as long as I possibly could. I don't remember why, but we were die hard for PlayStation. It was only going to be PlayStation. Nintendo was okay, but PlayStation was primary. You could not support Microsoft in any way. So I never bought an Xbox until like a year ago. But that was like the point. It was literally to never support Xbox. That meant I had to literally go through my entire time working at Toys R Us without selling Xbox. So what did I do? I did just that. I didn't sell a single Xbox. Now, right around then is when the Switch, or the Wii was coming out with their little red edition, which was just the Wii without any GameCube backwards compatibility or anything like that. So I had to, without a shadow of a doubt, try to sell nothing but PlayStation and the Wiis. And anytime an Xbox was going to be talked about, I just let somebody else take care of it and sell it. So I technically never sold one. Now, the reason why this bet was going on is because me and my buddy, longtime friend, basically my brother, is petty. We're both petty, and that's how we were going to deal with this whole situation. So he pretty much kept tabs on me. Hey, have you sold an Xbox? No, I didn't. But to continue on, basically what ended up happening was we had a wall. It was this big security room, but it had a window full of all the consoles, so everybody could pretty much see if it was up there, we had it. And that's what I would do. I'd go up there and explain that PlayStation at the time had free online. You didn't have to pay anything. They're like, oh, well, that's really good. I said, yeah, not to mention, it's roughly the same price. But you're looking at free online. You don't have to pay for it. You can get on Call of Duty, all this. Your kid, if they love playing online games, they'll really love this. I was really trying to sell my ass off, and it worked. Surprisingly enough, people that were roughly in their late 30s to early 40s and buying for people that was roughly 5-6 years younger than me, literally didn't know any better. And that's all they did. They just went off of what I was saying. What would you get? And I told them, I'm a PlayStation owner. We're the superior breed. And I would just sell them PlayStations. Now, I also was a part of a thing called Back of House. If you don't know what that is, it's actually a lot simpler, not as confusing. It's just the back stock area. I don't know why they call it back of house. I understand the back of part, but they call it back of house. That's where big ticket items were and stuff like that. And it was kind of underwhelming, actually, once I got back there. It wasn't as cool, wasn't as fun, and primarily for the most part being out seasonal, I just kind of walked the floor. But the overall experience then was kind of cool because Black Friday was hectic. Now, there's like 2 or 3 places that is like the worst to work at as far as in my experience. Retail is going to be Walmart, Best Buy, and Toys R Us. Black Friday is hell working there. We had lines that literally ran the entire strip. Walmart was always packed full. And it makes me happy that I don't have to deal with Black Friday ever again. In fact, Black Friday is my own personal holiday where I don't go out in town. The week before Black Friday, I try to avoid anything to do with the city. I will literally travel down the road if I am having liquor for any get-togethers, or if I'm buying beer for a hangout session of like Call of Duty for the whole night. I will go down the road. I might have to pay a little bit extra, but I'd rather pay that little bit extra so I don't have to be in town. People don't know how to drive. People are assholes. They constantly think that they're the ones that are, it's me. I know this is me trying to do stuff for my family by getting something for $5 less. I never understood, because some of the stuff I don't think people realize are markups anyway, and they're marked down by just barely any. The only time I really jump on like these deals is like Cyber Monday. Amazon always wins if you pay attention to the pricing. I also have to say, getting back on the Toys R Us, I will say the funniest thing I've seen happen was drunk people. And yeah, a lot. During the holidays, you will have Dad of the Year type people where I guess they have some kind of moral obligation to feel while they're drunk, emotional towards their children because they may be a failure. I don't know the justification behind it. But you will get drunk people in your store that are like, God, my baby doll will love this. Oh, God. Oh, I got, you don't get it. My kid, I'm such a good person. I'm such a piece of shit. I'm such a good person. I gotta get this for my daughter. And actually, this is the only time I have to say the management was awesome, because like they would not let any of the young people, 18-year-olds, kind of fresh out of high school people. They told them, look, you got to go to the back. Everybody go to the back. Let management, take care of this. And a lot of them would. They would try to, coach the man through, try to see if he's going to actually make a purchase, see if they can keep it small, because they don't know if the guy's like hammered and he may do a return. So the best thing they try to do is guide him through the store, coach him through it, and try to get him outside and make sure he had like a ride or a taxi. And unfortunately for some of them, and I say unfortunately because, they're pretty much gone and you don't know what's going to happen. But fortunate for everybody else, unfortunate for the person, they have to call the cops, so it looks like he's going to drive. And they usually did not try to push it past their parking lot, but they usually try to keep the cops pretty well informed. And I think about the 1 or 2 times I had to deal with it, or I didn't have to deal with it, I seen it, they had a ride. It was their buddy bringing them from the bar. Luckily, they had a DD. But it was always really weird and sad to see people in that state. You never knew as, a fresh out of high school person how bad people really are. And to top it off, working retail itself in general, which I had another job later, which I may talk about in the future, it made me realize how selfish people are, how big of an ass they are. People will literally fight over the dumbest things. There was Lego sets that weren't even rare. People would fight over them all the time. And don't get me wrong, Amazon I don't think was like just booming at the time yet. eBay was definitely popping off. I don't remember Amazon being a big thing yet. You're talking about years ago, like 15 years ago. I'm literally mush in my brain trying to think that far. But quite literally, it just really made me realize how bad people are when it comes to getting a deal. You see it worse once you start working in a business and you start seeing people that will trample over others just to get ahead in life. But seeing the absolute, feral instincts people have when it comes to Black Friday was an eye-opener to make me hate the general public. For the most part, I just don't go in public as much as possible because most everybody are just complete pieces of shit, and I just avoid that entirely. I can't stand people like that. 90% of the time, if I'm ever in town anyway, I have earbuds in to make sure I don't have to listen to people. And if I have them in, people won't talk to me. So it's a lot easier to go through town. So I'm trying to be hyper-focused. I need to get chicken. I need to get broccoli. I need to get this. I need trash bags, cat food. And it's just, it was literally all, comes from my first job, being retail. I pretty much ever since then have had a disdain for general population of people. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.